Hello, Periscope. This is Antoinette Awoshika, and I am the owner of Performance Therapy Massage. And the title of my scope is Ethics in Therapeutic Massage Part 2. So the first time I spoke about ethics in therapeutic massage, I talked about ways to discern how to choose the proper massage therapist because it's not a one-size-fits-all industry. You have to find the right therapist based on, first of all, what your needs are, what the expertise of that therapist are, that therapist's personality, your personality, and how you guys work together and partner as a team. Thank you for the person that came in. I don't know who you are. I can't see it, but thank you so much for coming in. And my name is Antoinette Awoshika, and I am speaking about ethics in therapeutic massage, and this is part 2. And so today I'm going to be talking about humility in your practice. As a massage therapist, we are many things to our clients. We are their confidants, not on purpose, but as you grow and you build a professional relationship with a person, they tell you things that are personal, that are near and dear to their hearts. And so there's a bond that is formed. However, as a professional, my job is to treat. My job is to create a professional space, but also a safe place so that my client is comfortable in telling me things. On the flip side of that, I have to remain professional. And in this instance, the roles were crossed because we became so comfortable with each other. We were speaking on a subject that is near and dear to each of our hearts, and we both had strong opinions in that or surrounding that subject. So I, as a therapist, we have we have two terms. One is transference and the other is countertransference. Transference is when a client will look at the therapist as, oh my gosh, I love you so much, you're my best friend, or they will feel like they will mistake therapeutic touch for romantic touch, which is not the case, should not ever be the case. The other one is countertransference, when the therapist looks at the client as, oh my gosh, you're my best friend, and has, romantic feelings or whatever toward the client, and that should not happen as well. So in this case, it was mutually, we're both women, we're both business owners, we identify, we relate to one another, and as I said, it was a topic, and we were both trying to prove a point. And I kept saying, okay, I'm going to agree to disagree, and I'm going to stop the conversation. But it kept going. And so what ended up happening is all my work that I had done, all the therapeutic work that I had done, it became undone because the conversation got to a point where it frustrated the both of us. The atmosphere changed, and it was just not a good look. And one of the things I pride myself on as a therapist is my professionalism and just keeping that safe space so that the client can tell me anything, but I don't cross those professional barriers. That professional barrier was crossed when my emotions and the client's emotions went high, and I didn't do anything to back out of that. So it was definitely a teaching moment for me and a learning experience for me. So what I did was I didn't say anything else. I sent the client a message. We text, that is our form or our method of communication. I texted her and apologized for the situation and for my unprofessionalism. Because as a business owner and as a therapist, you have to be able to admit when you are wrong. And I was wrong because I should not have allowed the situation to escalate to the point where, we were so high on emotion. I was so high on emotion. I was high on emotion, and I could not step back and see that you are out of your professional realm right now. So I apologized. One, because I was sorely disappointed in myself too, because I had undone the work that I did. And being a therapist and understanding that the work that I do, I work externally, but it's making a difference internally. I take that very seriously. I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed, and just my client walking out feeling, not satisfied, you know? So I had to humble myself and apologize. What came from that was a lesson to remind me that even though you can be comfortable and you want to build that rapport with your client, don't let it get to the point where you think you're having a conversation with one of your best friends, because that's not the case. Number two, I had to have humility, and not just for the sake of saving a client, but for the sake of making sure, because my ultimate goal is to help every person that comes into my practice by working on them physically, by teaching them about their bodies and the things that they can do to help themselves. So I don't want to be a deterrent from that. So for those reasons, I had to let humility take its place. And what came from it was a greater understanding of the terms transference and countertransference. What also came from it is learning, you know what? You don't have to be right all the time. That's something I struggle with. Never had that in my professional life as a therapist, but I had it for the first time, and it was very eye-opening. And just being able to apologize from a sincere place, from a professional standpoint, it elevated me as a therapist and as a person. And so now I'm learning better. Thank you so much. Thank you, Zora. Thank you for joining. I'm going to reset a little. This is Antoinette Awoshika. I'm talking about ethics in therapeutic massage. My company name is Performance Therapy Massage. There was a situation with a client where we were having a conversation and we were speaking more on the terms of not from a client to a patient, or a therapist to a client, more from like woman to woman. And it got heated, and instead of me diffusing the situation and walking away, I did not. I kept going. It was tit for tat. And what ended up happening is my client walked away just frustrated and upset. And I walked away like, what did I just do? And so I had to apologize via text, because that's how we communicate. And I had to let humility set in. And there are two terms. There's transference and there's countertransference. Transference is when a client looks at you in a romantic way, or in a way that is out of the professional scope. It's more on a personal level. Countertransference is when a therapist looks at a client in a way that is not in a professional manner, but more on a personal or friendship level. And I've never experienced that before. So like I said, I had to apologize, because one, my goal as a therapist is to help people, and is to educate. And I let my personal feelings and the desire to be right, tit for tat, can tarnish communication. And that's exactly what happened. And so that's why I immediately apologized, because I didn't want to damage that relationship and the professional relationship, and also, throw out the training that I had received, as a therapist, because I pride myself on being professional. So, but the beauty of what came from it was, after we have to squash our ego. You're absolutely right. So after I sent the text message and apologized, the client wrote me back, And then when she came in for her next appointment, it was a completely different atmosphere. But I know it only happened because I had to admit that I was wrong. And I was wrong on two levels. As much as you build a rapport with your clients, you have to still keep in mind, this is a client and I am being paid for a service. I'm not being paid for my opinion. I'm being paid for a service. And two, yes, and two, if I am working in the realm of trying to diffuse stress, fatigue, whatever my client is coming in with, and then we're having this heated discussion, I've just undone everything that I undone, you know? So that doesn't help the client. And that is in contrast to what my profession is as a therapist. So for that reason, I had to, you know, some people say eat humble pie. I don't believe in eating humble pie. It was good for me because it reminded me of what's more important. And what's more important is my professional standard and my commitment to my client to make sure that the well-being of my client remains intact as much as I can control it. And that situation was a situation that I could have controlled by closing my mouth and refocusing on the therapy. So that is what I learned. And it definitely was humbling, but a part of being humble is being mature. And that was definitely a level of maturity, another level of maturity, to step back and assess my situation and assess where I went wrong and then correct myself. And then in being able to do that, I was able to diffuse the situation and just grow from it. So that is my second part of ethics in therapeutic massage. In any business, we cannot allow ourselves to get to that point where we feel so comfortable with our clients where we cross that professional threshold, especially when you're dealing in healthcare. You can't cross that professional threshold because you don't want to add more stress onto what they already have. And stress, coupled with any health issue, is detrimental. So humility, even though they don't call it humility, they call it professional etiquette, but it's humility. And humility in business will take you a long way. You can have all the skills, all the techniques, but if you don't have respect for yourself, your respect for your clients, your respect for your profession, you will not go far. So this is Antoinette Awoshika, owner of Performance Therapy Massage, and I'm here to tell you that ethics in whatever line of work or profession that you do is simply humility wrapped in maturity. Being able to admit that you're wrong, being able to assess how you were wrong, and being able to apologize to save a relationship, to save your client relationship, to save your professional integrity. Humility will do that for you. Thank you so much, and God bless. Good night.